Hello and a very warm welcome to all our viewers. My name is Lara and we're here at Bite Me Burger in DIFC. Now joining me this morning is a very, very special guest, and of course we're talking about none other than Gauri Chadha from The Big Night. Hello and a very warm welcome. How are you doing, Gauri?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's such a pleasure to have you with us this morning on the show. Now Gauri, we're going to start off by telling the viewers a little bit more about your background, your history, how long you've been here in the region.
So Dubai is home. I've lived here for about 30 years. So my family's always been based here. I've always kind of studied away, lived away between Europe and the States. And I'm actually a filmmaker. So my journey in film began through college, where I was in the States and schools in Europe. And then I was working in Bollywood for about 5 years. And my whole world is really film and storytelling. I'm also an actress and an improviser. I'm part of a local theater here. So everything about storytelling is what excites me. And our company is called The Big Night. My husband and I run it. And we're completely focused on this idea of time travel. That how do we create an event that makes you come into a space that literally transports you into a different dimension. And that's what we really take influences from theater, from, all of our events are inspired by films or plays or scripts or a playwright or a character. And we really try to bring in that cinematic, theatrical, unexpected world of events.
I'm sure that's what sets you apart from all the other event organizers and events management companies out here in the region. Now, getting back to the world of film directing and acting and Bollywood, you've won many, many awards over the years.
Yes.
Share more of that with us, please.
So I started my career in Bollywood. I've worked both on Hollywood productions, Bollywood productions, so Hollywood being Mission Impossible 4. And I was working for about 4 years, and then I decided that, this is my time to go independent, and I set up my production company called Chasing Frames. And I set off with my first film, just saying, you need to dive in because it's now or never. And we were extremely overwhelmed by the response. I traveled with that film for about 1.5 years, from Cannes to LA to to Arizona, different places in Europe, India, with that film, and that picked up about 15 awards and 24 nominations. And then from there on, I went on to make some other films, and then I got married. So I moved back to Dubai, and Dubai is an amazing place to do the arts, but in terms of the type of voice I wanted to put into my films, and in my films I really focus on quite hard hitting topics. Currently I'm writing a film about surrogacy, and I really dive in. I spent a lot of time in villages in India as to the heart of where these surrogate carriers, do this and why do they do it. So everything for us is getting really involved. But yeah, my journey in film is something that's always ever growing, and that's really my joy of just chasing frames every day of my life. And now I do that through the world of events.
Now, you've been involved in quite a few movies. I want to ask you, and I know this is a difficult question, but I want to ask you, what has been your most favorite or most enjoyable movie?
That I've worked on?
Yes, what's your favorite movie? And I know this will be hard to answer, but yeah.
Honestly, I would say when I worked on Mission Impossible 4, because we had shut down the entire, you can imagine the Times Square of Bombay, and it was madness. And there was the i8, the supercar from BMW, and that was kind of in my section. I was working as an assistant director, and the car broke down. And all of a sudden you put that there in front of the entire population on the most iconic street in Bombay, and there I am going, okay, this is crazy. And that's where I actually met my best friend in that moment, because I found myself with a policeman's stick, and she found herself with a whistle to crowd control, and before we know it we're just facing each other and we're like, I like you, and she's like, I like you too. So the madness of working on such a vast and grand production, and kind of coming from 2 film schools and kind of seeing that scale, it's something that really excited me. And at the same time, smaller projects, especially, so I love creating documentaries, and when I'm really in the grind of it and I'm with my subjects and I'm really learning from them and diving into sitting with these incredible women in villages in India, understanding why are they surrogate carriers, what is their reason, and what is their experience, and having that emotional and human bond is where I feel definitely the most alive and where I've enjoyed my moments in film the most.
And I'm sure that gives you the power to create more, better, bigger.
Yes.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
Now you're involved with the iWest platform for the successful female entrepreneurs out there. Tell us a little bit more about that.
I absolutely love the initiative that here, this platform is bringing incredible women together and celebrating them together. I think that is something that is so needed. And as a female entrepreneur myself, it excites me so much that I can be in a space where I can learn from other beautiful women and talented women, and we can come together and actually grow rather than kind of working apart at the same thing. So I think that collectiveness is so powerful. And for example, with events, it's amazing because there's so many different components and reaching out to a greater community, especially in Dubai. Yeah, so I think just having incredible women coming together and being in a space where you can learn from one another and support one another, I definitely think we need more of that. So I feel really honored and really excited to be a part of such an association, and I can't wait to learn more about it.
Last but not least, Gauri, what message do you have for the viewers that are watching us right now? What would you say to them?
The message I have for our viewers is to be you. Be different, because who you are and what you do is what makes you so powerful and unique, and you hold something that nobody else has. So if you hold on to that and you celebrate that and you keep on creating, you will realize how magnificent you are. So that's what I would say to you. Never stop believing in your dreams. I never thought that I would be from making films to, being an event planner, and here I am many years later, but I found my way through. So definitely believe in yourself, be you, be different. That's a motto that we always say in our company, and that's what we really celebrate.
Amazing, lovely. Thank you very much for sharing that with us.
Thank you.
Now, getting back to the film industry here in the region, we've had the Dubai International Film Festival, which started many, many years ago and took place over a span of 14 years.
Yes.
And then they decided to put it on hold for whatever reasons. What are your views on that? And what are your views on the film industry in general here in the region and how it's progressed over the years?
Having grown up in Dubai, I'm extremely passionate about the arts in this region. I feel there is such tremendous talent. I spend a lot of my time trying to give back, whether I'm just sharing my experience with different students and universities, just to hopefully inspire another person. And I find that there's so much talent, but the avenues are not there for them. I don't find that there is a straight line to say, okay, here are my possibilities. But just because our industry may be a bit smaller, it does not mean that it doesn't have the vibrance of talent and the spectrum of talent like any other industry in the world when you look at the film industry. So I definitely feel that we need to come together more, and we need to collaborate more together to really build that. And the one thing that I'm extremely passionate about within film within this region is that 90% of the UAE are expats.
True.
We all have such a variety of stories to tell. You have a story, I have a story, we all have such a variety. And if we were to perhaps celebrate that a bit more through our storytelling in the world of film, I think that it would open up a greater scale to where we would stand as a film industry on a global market. Where now it still is more region-based, which I totally understand that, but Dubai is my home. I have a culture, I'm from India, but Dubai is my home. So my take on that, coming from my culture of being Indian, may add a different depth to it. So I feel that's where we stand. Was I extremely upset hearing that DIF was no longer happening? Yeah, I think a lot of people that have spent their time in Dubai, that was the one thing we had, where it opened up the market for us internationally, and we were able to have amazing conversations with filmmakers from Brazil or, anywhere in the world. So I think that reach definitely kind of affected a lot of other talent within the region.
Absolutely. I think I was the first one to be affected when DIF stopped happening. It broke my heart. It was the highlight of the year.
Yes.
I think all of us waited all year round for the Dubai International Film Festival. Yeah.
But you find your ways. So just one thing I'd like to highlight, which I didn't mention when it comes to the big night and what we create, is really experiences bringing that world in. So for example, we've been around for about 3 years, and just to give you an example of how one of our clients entered the party was inside the tank in Atlantis, inside the fish tank. And that's how they entered. And they had flashcards saying this is a year of purpose and we want to overcome our fears to try and live a greater purpose. So I think you find storytelling in whatever ways that you allow yourself to absorb what is around you. And I think that's something that collaboration or platforms like this, I think they are a gift because they allow that possibility of collaboration to occur.
Absolutely. Gauri Chadha, it's been a true pleasure talking to you and finding out more about your history, your background, your passion for film directing and events.
Thank you.
Wishing you continued growth and success always.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, that's all we have time for from Gauri Chadha. My name is Lara, signing off. Until next time.